Hi. During this pandemic season, working from home may turn out to be a pretty welcoming experience for some of us. But for some of us, working from home can be quite stressful, especially when we're living in tight quarters. So, one of the examples could be feeling the lack of personal space. I mean, even though we love our family members, we all need some me time free from responsibilities and distractions. Another common challenge could be that we feel that we are constantly monitored and watched by other family member, that we feel almost guilty to slack off when we're working from home. And if you're experiencing these challenges, you're not alone. And I'm here to offer you 3 broad principles to maybe help you and your family to navigate through this challenging time. So, number 1, be extra mindful. And there are 3 points under there. Be really mindful, firstly, of your own self-care. Self-care is not being selfish. It's about looking after our body, which is the temple of the spirit. So check in with ourselves numerous times daily and see, how am I feeling? Am I feeling more nervous than usual? Am I feeling sad? Or am I feeling quite annoyed and hopeless? Research shows that if we're able to label our emotion, it actually helps us to mitigate some of the negative impacts at that point. So be really diligent about that. And the second point is to be really mindful of our practices at home, how we talk about the pandemic. How kids are really good at picking up on what we say and what we do. They are actually picking up on our emotional cues as well, because it is one of the lenses through which they understand and make sense of the world. So we don't want to instill any more fear than is necessary, and try to encourage healthy conversation and validate their emotions along the way. For example, just have them share and validate that they feel really bummed that their soccer game has been canceled, but encourage them to think about creative ways to continue to have fun. And the third point is to be really mindful of your screen time. I know that you're not going to happy to hear about that, but research really shows that consistent, prolonged exposure to negative news can lead to negative mood. I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer to me, right? So try to just know enough, but don't overdo it. The second principle is to be extra grateful. There are 3 things and 3 steps that you can actually do. First, think about, what am I grateful for about one of my family members today? And be very specific. Rather than saying, well, I'm grateful that my husband has been good to me. Try saying, I'm really grateful that my husband helped me to supervise my daughter's online lesson while I'm hunkering down on my project deadline. And the second step is to think about what I'm grateful for me that's been done well today. For example, you can say that I'm really grateful that I'm able to extend grace and patience to my boy who's misbehaving today. And then the third step is to think about what it is that I can do to make it better the next day. For example, maybe I can be more vocal in expressing my appreciation to my husband who has helped me so much today. And I can start doing it tomorrow. And this is a growth mindset that we all want to practice. Then, the third principle is to be extra graceful. You might wonder, how can I express grace to my child who is just acting out and screaming and yelling at home? So there are 3 tips for you to try. First is to really step into their shoes, imagining how it is for you to be a 15-year-old, for example, being stuck at home and with no friends and having nothing to do. And really, it's an exercise of practicing empathy. And research also shows that if we're able to empathize others, we'll be able to get along better. And the second is to really be generous in offering our words of affirmation. I have yet to hear in my practice where my client would be complaining that, oh, my husband is showing so much Thanksgiving and affirmation. I have had enough. Can you help him to tone it down? I mean, we're often quite stingy in terms of giving our verbal praises and affirmation. But in this tough season, be more intentional about saying thanks. Overdo it. Please do more. And I think by doing that, your family will be more happier. And it's a pandemic after all, so we can always cut each other some slacks. The third tip is to pay attention to what's going well, rather than what's going wrong. As a human being, we have the tendency to notice things that's not going right, especially when we're in close quarters. It's always easier to spot the negatives when we are feeling stressed out. So be intentional about noticing what's positive and what's working, and to let everybody know how much we appreciate each other. So every family have their own individual, unique challenges, and I hope that these 3 broad principles will help you to navigate and adapt to your own unique situations. So again, be extra mindful, be extra grateful, and be extra graceful. God bless you.